Hey guys, I know this video is long overdue. I actually had about 3 songs and 2 other vlogs that I wanted to record and post on the channel, but I couldn't for one very big reason, and it's not university stress, and it's not anything to do with like my home life. It's just something that I can't tackle by myself, and that is depression. A lot of people suffer with depression or have depression to some degree, and it's not always known how it occurs. I've got the definition of depression here, which I'm going to read to you. Depression is a state of low mood and aversion to activity that can affect a person's thoughts, behaviour, feelings and sense of well-being. People with depressed mood can feel sad, anxious, empty, hopeless, helpless, worthless, guilty, irritable, ashamed or restless. They may lose interest in activities that were once pleasurable, experience loss of appetite or overeating, have problems concentrating, remembering details or making decisions, and may contemplate, attempt or commit suicide. Insomnia, excessive sleeping, fatigue and aches are also part of depressive symptoms. So I'm fine, I'm not contemplating suicide or anything like that, but I do feel a lack of pleasure for things I once enjoyed, and if I'm struggling to keep up with those things, I feel severely down. Just generally I can't pick myself up. It's almost like I'm stuck in a rut that I just can't get out of. Like, I like to play my music all the time. As I said, I wrote 3 songs that I really wanted to record and post, but I just can't. Every time I go to do it, I say, well, it's not as good as it could be. Oh, I've not recorded it properly. I just make up excuse after excuse after excuse as to why to not upload it or to even record it in general. And rather than just discuss the symptoms of depression, I thought I would share with you a couple of the ways I have been combating it over the past month to try and get my life in some sort of order. As I said, I like playing my music, so on my downtime where I don't have to do work or I've actually managed to catch up with some university stuff, I will play my ukulele or my guitar. My friend has recently nominated me to go into Winchester's Got Talent, which is our university's X Factor, or Britain's Got Talent if you like. And it's actually really good. I've not actually been to the last couple. I went to the first round this Thursday just gone, last Thursday, and the acts were phenomenal. Like, hats off to all of them. They did really, really well. And it's sort of like my friend nominating me to go in has inspired me to say, yeah, I can get up and I can do music again. So hopefully within the next week or 2, depending on how much work I've got, a music video will go up. Slapping myself on the wrist for not doing it sooner. And that's just one of my ways because it's a creative outlet. I also like to draw in my spare time, and I've actually hooked up with a couple of friends who are helping me plan out a little drawing and story series. So we're just going to get together and have a laugh with it. It doesn't necessarily need to have to go anywhere, but a comprehensive story would be great. I also find myself looking at puns, because puns are the god of all laughter. I find puns in everyday life. If I make a pun, I'm really, really happy. And it fills me with glee, and watching my friends go, oh, it's one of the best things I've ever experienced. So a little bit of laughter I find can help. On a day where it's really bad and I feel really awful and ugly, I make myself look pretty. I don't care what else I'm doing that day. I could not even be going out somewhere, but I just want to look good because I feel, quite frankly, shite. I feel like my pores have opened up, or I feel sweaty, or I feel horrible. I just stick on some eyeliner and some mascara, put on a nice outfit, and I'm good to go out the door if I need to go and do shopping. Another thing that I like to do is make sure I get out of the house. So I go on a walk either to uni to meet someone, or go to the library, maybe take out a book, just as long as I get out of the house so I'm not sat on my very comfy bed doing nothing. As soon as I've trapped myself into doing nothing but watch YouTube videos or reruns of episodes, or just like finding myself on iPlayer or watching Most Haunted, something like that, I find I'm not going to do anything for the rest of that day. So trying to get myself out of that routine is literally just going outside. Or I find myself, I feel if I'm not going to film to put on YouTube or into my personal vlogging diary, which is held on my computer, I just film myself talking. I have filmed myself talking to a camera for about an hour and a half before. I've not watched any of that footage back. It's purely just for me to ramble, let all my thoughts out, cry if I need to, without having to upset anyone else, having to bother anyone else. Because that's something, you always feel like you're going to bother someone when you're upset, or that someone's got something worse on than you, so you don't want to pester them by saying, I've got an issue and I can't tackle it. Last week I had a day where I just spent the day in bed. I hid under the covers, I ignored the door, I ignored my phone, I ignored all of my responsibilities because I just didn't want to do anything. And I thought I'd rather be sleeping. And it was back to Monday and not a Tuesday. No one wishes a Monday, but I did. And days like that are okay. I felt having that day off, letting myself cry or rest or just read a book, do something that wasn't stressful or too engaging. As soon as I've put myself into a situation where I have to do too much and I am feeling that down, I automatically overstress myself, and that's when I wind myself up and get upset. So to have a day where I can just say, you know what, I'm gonna read whatever I want. Those are the best days for me. I find they're the ones that get me through a lot of things. A little tip that I like, if I'm having a downtime before I go to bed, so I'm not feeling great, I put my pyjamas into the tumble dryer. I heat them up. If you don't have a tumble dryer, you can stick them on the radiator or something like that. Just heat them up before you get into bed. A little snuggly and warm. So it makes you feel, I don't know, secure and safe. It's like if you have a hug from your parents or someone that you love dearly, and you're feeling, I need a hug, but there's no one there to give you the hug, so you just shove your clothes in the tumble dryer. It's fine, it's wonderful. I find it helps me for a lot of things, and if I can't have that, I normally make a hot water bottle and I cuddle that before I go to bed. And that just cheers me up 110%. It won't work for everyone, it's just me. I like holding something warm. Another thing I like to do is just play my DS, play a game on Steam, something to exercise my brain. Like, not when I say a game, I mean something where I have to calculate, not just a mindless like Candy Crush sort of game. That's no good. You need something where you're looking at the screen and you're going, what is the solution to this puzzle? How do I accomplish this? So I like playing Portal and Portal 2 and anything like that. Mini Metro is also a very good one. I have that on Steam, and you'll basically have to sort out where your stations will go to carry the most people without all the trains breaking down. Once you've got a good system going, you feel so good. But keeping your brain active. I know I said I like the downtimes where I just get to read a book, but you're still processing, you're still doing, your body is still awake and working. And I find if you can't read, or you don't enjoy reading, maybe playing a game or helping yourself to do something that's constructive. So, I don't know, if you like Sudoku, go play Sudoku. That might help. As long as you're keeping active in some form, whether it's your brain or your body, just keep yourself moving. Keep myself moving. Keep myself moving. Might write a song called Keep Myself Moving. That sounds like a fantastic idea. Actually, this just reminded me. I don't want to well. You've got to keep yourself hydrated and fed properly. And it's one of the most difficult things you can do because you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to move. I went out and bought some lime cordial, basically lime squash, and I drank that because you don't need very much of it in your bottle or your mug or your glass or whatever you drink it out of. I'm a student and I got given this for Christmas, and it's really nice, and it means I can carry it and I don't have to worry about spilling it. So I have at least that in my room, and I make sure I drink at least 1 cup of tea, because then I've got some caffeine in me, which I know isn't necessarily the best thing, but keeps me going. I put a little bit of sugar in that as well. When it comes to meals, make sure I have 1 cooked meal a day at least. So whether that's a ready meal, most likely going to be a ready meal because I'm a student. I quite like to cook pork and chicken though. What just fell? So confused. Making sure I eat at least 1 hot meal and a sandwich. Breakfast is always a good start, but I have to get up in time for breakfast for that to happen. I mean, during my university days or my work days, I would get up normally around 7 AM. Earliest maybe 6:30, 6 o'clock, depending on when work starts. I know I can have a breakfast, whether it's cereal or toast. Or porridge. Does porridge count as cereal? I feel like it should, but it doesn't because it's gloopy and warm. I just need to make sure I have something before I go out, otherwise I get hungry earlier in the day and it doesn't put my mood right. Another thing that I like to do to keep myself afloat when I'm actually at university or work. Now for me, work is a lot easier to keep myself afloat in because I am dealing with an every second basis job. I work at a nursery, a couple of nurseries. I'm always looking after the children and making sure that they're not hurting themselves, so I'm pretty preoccupied all of the time. So work's not that bad. It's when it gets to a break and I have to eat my carrots silently that kills me. I don't really have any tips for getting through work, but for university, that's where I can help you. Or through your school studies if you're in lessons, depends on how lax your school is, because I have my lecture slides on my phone. So as the teacher's going through the slides, I can read them on my phone because I sit at the back. This basically allows me to follow with what the teacher's saying, but also have the notes right in front of me so I'm not going up, down, trying to read and write. What this does also mean is that I get quite bored and I flick through ahead of the lecture notes and write as much of it down as possible. But that's just the way my brain works. I prefer to read and write because I learn things better. It's like learning song lyrics. I write them out or have dreams about them. That's for another story though. Trying to find things that are entertaining and different within my lectures. So at the moment I do Sex and the City, poetry in the court of Elizabeth I, so I'm looking at sonnets, which is great, and I'm also doing Shakespeare. So for Sex and the City, I think that's pretty obvious how I keep myself occupied in that one. We talk about women's rights, men's rights, and funny little stories that we've heard, like what do magazines say, like, you know, that sort of thing. It's just making the absurd come into my lectures, I find, is a lot more entertaining. So the same for Renaissance. Oh, me and my friend recently had to do the Summer's Day sonnet by Shakespeare. We basically said, well, you know, he's saying, oh, summer won't last that long because we're in England and summer's about 3 days of the year. Because England is wet and rainy, as many people know. Great stereotyping, guys, it's actually very correct. And that made me laugh inside, it made me giggle, and I found that helped me through the rest of that lecture. And I had an awful pun. So bad. I apologise to my classmates. As I said, these are just things that help me get through my day-to-day life, rather than what's necessarily going to help you if you're here for help. The last thing I'm going to talk about is getting help, which I know can be a very difficult, stressful process. I did originally go to my doctors about, I thought I had like anxiety issues or like social anxiety because I found being around people very, very stressful, and I felt a lot of the stuff I did in comparison was mediocre. Now, my doctor basically turned around to me and said, what do you want me to do? And at this point I didn't know what I wanted them to do. What I wanted them to do was to fix me. I wanted them to tell me what was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong, and I thought I might have, I don't know, all sorts of things. I could have like a disease, like a physical disease that's making me crash and burn. But he said he thought it was more that I was struggling with myself and my self-esteem, and to just talk about it. So he said either go online and go onto these lovely help sites and talk to someone on there, or find someone at the university to talk to. I went online, and the site that I found online wanted me to pay £40 a month. And I can't afford that, I am a student. So I said no thank you to the online site and just turned to the next best thing. Now, I go to the university pretty much every day. So I know that there's a lot of officers on campus who are able to help me if I have any issues at all. And I sit down and I talk to them. I talk to the people who I know I can trust with my issues to not tell anyone else, unless I specifically say this person's okay to tell. And it was very difficult at the beginning, and there are still days where I don't know what's wrong. I can't physically tell you why I'm upset, but I will still give it my best shot. And they respect that, and a lot of the time they're just happy to listen. And I feel that's all you really need, is if you can and you are able to talk to someone, just find someone who will listen to you and not give you sassy answers or go, okay, well, what do you want me to do? Just find someone that says, I'm not sure if I can help, but I would like to listen. Or if you can find someone who knows what it's like and has been through it and is like out the other end, talk to them. They're going to be able to help you. It's the same as in any situation. If you know someone who's been through it, and if you've found someone who you can talk to who's been through it and they would like to help you, talk to them. Just get this stuff off of your chest, because I have not felt, I was going to say this good, I mean I felt better than this before, but I've not felt as bad as I have in the past week talking to a couple of my friends about it. I'm starting to feel like there are actually ways that I can get through this to the other side. I'd like to end it on a high note, because I feel like I'm getting through this, you're getting through this, future me is definitely getting through this, and if you don't mind, I'm going to leave this video here, and I will see you, and possibly you, in the next video. Bye! My butt's so sore, this chair's really uncomfortable. I feel like I've made an accomplishment right there.